Okay, good morning Year 4. Welcome to today's maths lesson. I hope you enjoyed your first lesson on fractions yesterday and you're feeling confident. We're going to move on with our learning today. So first of all, you're going to do your do now. It's similar to yesterday, missing number equations, but with mixed times tables today, and there's quite a bit of division in there. So really think about what it's asking you and make sure you go back and check that it makes sense once you've filled in the missing answer. There's also a challenge there with some word problems to have a go at. If you're feeling like doing those today, please have a go and stretch yourself if you can. So pause the video and then when you're ready, you can come back for the answers. Okay, hopefully you've managed to have a go at those. I'm going to pop the answers up on the screen and then you can mark your work. I would suggest pausing the video and then you can come back once you've marked them and you're ready. Okay, so hope you did well in those. Moving on to today's lesson, we're going to be identifying and finding fractions of quantities. So quickly, we'll go through our keywords for the day. So repeating after me: numerator, denominator, equal parts, whole, bar model. Fabulous. So on the screen, you can see a group of children. So we're going to look how we can use fractions to describe quantities. So the first one is, what fraction of the group are wearing hats? So as you can see here, I've given you a little bit of a clue. If you can remember from yesterday, the number that goes on the bottom is how many there are in total, how many parts or how many there are in total. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 children in this group, so that is going to be the number on the bottom of my fraction. Okay, and then the next thing I need to do is count how many we're referring to. So in this question, we are referring to how many are wearing hats. So I'm going to count how many are wearing hats. I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 out of 8 children are wearing hats. Okay, I might need your help with this one. So what fraction have a stripy t-shirt? So I'm looking for the stripy t-shirts this time. But first of all, I need to fill in my how many in total, which is my denominator. So we should be able to get that because we've already filled it on the first one. My denominator should be 8. Hopefully you've got 8 because there are 8 children. Now, my top number is how many parts I'm referring to. So this time it's stripy t-shirt. So if you can look at the screen and count how many children are wearing a stripy t-shirt for me. So my numerator should be, hopefully you've got 3. I have 1, 2, 3 children with a stripy t-shirt. So 3/8 of the children have a stripy t-shirt on. Okay, final question. What fraction are girls? So I am going to let you have a go at that one. And then in a moment, we'll go through the answer together. So I'm just going to pause for about 10 seconds. Can you see if you can work out which fraction are girls? Okay, so again, we should have our denominator as 8. And then we are going to count together what our numerator should be. So I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, 4 8s are girls. Well done if you managed to get that one correct. Okay, moving on. So let's do these examples. So this time, what fraction are red? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bikes in total. So I should know now that needs to go on my denominator because that's how many parts in total. So the denominator is 7 because there are 7 objects in total. So I'm going to fill in my sentence to make that nice and clear. And then the next part I need to do is fill in my numerator. So how many are red? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So the numerator is 4 because 4 objects are red. And then we're going to say the fraction. So 4/7 of the objects are red. Okay, so let's look at another example. So this time we've got some cubes. So this time I want to know what fraction of the quantity of cubes are blue. So the first sentence is the denominator is because there are objects in total. So what I'd like you to do is count the objects in total. So we have 5. So the denominator is 5 because there are 5 objects in total. Okay, moving on to the numerator. So the numerator is because objects are blue. So hopefully you've got the numerator is 2 because 2 objects are blue. So saying the sentence with me, the final sentence, 2/5 of the objects are blue. Well done. Okay, so in your home learning sheet, you should have this sheet there to help you. So if you can print it off, you'll be able to write your answers next to the sheet. If you haven't, then you can follow along either if you can see it on the slides here, but it's quite small, or you may want to have it up on a separate document on Word to help you to see it a little bit better. So I'm going to do the first one with you. This is our talk task. Obviously, you don't have necessarily a partner at home, but you might have an adult there to help you, or you can say out loud to yourself. So we're going to practice saying what fraction are shaded. So in the first one, I would say the denominator is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because there are 6 objects in total. And then I would say the numerator is 2, because there are 2 objects that are shaded. 2/6 of the objects are shaded. So that would be number 1. So for the next groups, can you have a go? And then we're going to come back and go through the answers together. You don't need to write it down. You can just say it out loud. But if you do want to write it down, then that will definitely help you for the task that is coming up later for your independent activity. So pause the video, have a go at those, and then we'll go through the answers together. Okay, hopefully you've had a go at that. I'm just going to pop up my visualizer so you can see the answers. So you may have just done it talking out loud, but if you have written them down, I've written the answers here to help you. So we had 2/6, 5/10, 4 out of 16, 3/15. So for this one, I would have said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 in total, so that's my denominator. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shaded, so that is my numerator. So in total, 8/12 of these objects are shaded. And then the final one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 objects in total, so that is my denominator. And the numerator is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because 6 objects are shaded. So in total, 6 objects are out of 8, 6 8s are shaded. Okay, hopefully you are feeling confident with that and that makes sense. We're just going to pop back and carry on. So we're going to look now at equivalent fractions and how we can shade half, find half of these counters, which would also be 6/12, because sometimes questions may ask us to shade half, but there's not always 2 in the group, so it gets a little bit tricky. So we're going to look at how we can do that. So the counters that we had on the previous page have now been divided in half into 2 equal parts. So we've got some green counters and blue counters. So we started with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and now they're in 2 groups of 6. And that is because half of 12 is 6. This is because 12 divided by 2 is 6. Because remember, halving is the same as dividing by 2. So we had 12 counters in total, 2 parts. So now 6 counters are green. So I could say 6/12 of the counters are green. So half of the counters are green, or 6/12 of the counters are green. Similarly, I've also got half of the counters are blue, or 6 out of 12, 6/12 of the counters are blue. Okay, let's have a look at some other examples. So we've got an array here, but I'm going to pop it under the visualizers to show you more clearly. And we're going to have a go at finding out what these fractions mean. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I want to find a third of this quantity. Okay, so the main important thing that I need to know is that there needs to be 3 groups, because remember the number on the denominator is telling me how many equal parts or equal groups there are. But it's a bit tricky because I haven't got 3 counters, I've got 12 counters, but I can put my 12 counters into 3 groups. So I'm just going to separate them into 3 groups to help me. So I have 1, 2, 3 groups. Okay, so that's 1 showing me 1/3 of 12. So if I had the 12 counters in total, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 in each group. So 4 out of 12 is the same as 1/3. Okay, let's look at another example. So this time I am going to have the same amount of counters, but I'm going to be finding 1/4. So I want to find 1/4 of these 12 counters. So how many groups am I going to need to split the counters up into this time? So when I had 1/3, I put them in 3 groups. How many groups do you think I'm going to be splitting them up into this time? Hopefully you've said 4, because there are 4 on my denominator. So I'm going to separate my counters into 4 groups this time. I put 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1/4 is one of these groups. And if I count how many is in each group, I have 3. So one group has 3 out of 12 counters. So 1/4 is the same as 3/12. Let's look at one more example together. This time we're going to do 1/6. Now I want you to have a think about this by yourself this time. So first of all, how many groups am I going to have to break the counters up in to find what 1/6 is of 12? How am I going to find that? Fantastic. I hope you're saying you need to split them into 6 groups, Ms. Jones, because I have a 6 on my denominator. So I'm going to separate them into 6 equal groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to make that nice and clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I know I've got 12 counters in total. So where does that need to go on my fraction here? Hopefully you're saying the denominator, so my 12 is going to be the same on the bottom there, like the last 2 questions. Now, what number needs to be on my numerator? Think carefully. We've split the groups up. What number is going to be on my numerator? How many is in 1/6? Fantastic. So if I look at one of the groups, hopefully you can see that it's 2. So 1/6 is the same as 2/12. So 1/6 of 12 is 2. Okay, right. Let's go back and have a look at some more examples on the whiteboard. Okay, so we're going to look at now how we can do this on here. So we're going to look at our individual objects and groups of objects. So the first one I can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because I'm counting the individual objects, how many there are when I count them separately. So the denominator is going to be 9 because there are 9 objects in total. Okay, so I'm going to do that in red so we don't get confused. That is my denominator. Okay, the numerator is going to be 1, 2, 3 because 3 objects are yellow, and it's asking me what fraction are yellow. So I'm going to pop a 3 on the top there. So 3/9 of the objects are yellow. I'm not going to fill these in. These sentences are just here to help you know what you need to say. Okay, so now I'm going to look at the groups of objects. Because if I look carefully, I have one group of 3 that are shaded. So I need to split the other objects into equal groups. Now remember, it's really important that they're in equal groups. Because remember, it wouldn't be a fraction if it wasn't equal groups or equal parts. Okay, so this time it's slightly different. The denominator is going to be 1, 2, 3, because there are 3 equal groups in total. So I'm going to pop that in my denominator, 3. The numerator is going to be 1, because one group have the yellow stars in. One group is yellow. So 1 out of 3 groups are yellow. And they're all equal, so I know that is correct. Okay, let's have a look at another example and see if you can help me this time. Okay, so this time I want to know what fraction are green. Okay, so firstly, we're going to look at the individual objects. So the denominator is going to be, let's have a look and count the individual objects together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Or I can see that they're in straight rows. I could have gone 5, 10, 15. So my denominator is going to be 15. Fantastic. So next I need to look at the numerator. So the numerator is going to be, this time I need to look at how many are green, because I'm looking for how many are green in my question. 1, 2, 3, because 3 of the objects are green. So 3 out of 15 of the objects are green. Okay, so this time we're going to be looking at groups of objects. So the denominator is going to be what? Now this is the tricky part because I need to break them up into equal groups. So hopefully you can begin to see how I might split these up. So look really carefully at how many are green already. Can I split the rest of the objects into equal groups like that as well? Hopefully you're saying yes, Miss Jones, because I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there are 5 equal groups of 3. So the denominator is going to be 5 because there are 5 equal groups in total. Okay. Then I need to look at the numerator. So the numerator is going to be how many are green? Now, is my numerator going to be 3? 3 fifths are green. Do you agree or disagree with me? I want you to have a think about whether you think that is correct. Now, I know I've made a mistake here because I'm not looking at individual objects this time. I'm looking at the groups of objects. So looking at my groups, I only have 1 group that are green. The other 4 groups have black squares in them. So 1 out of 5 of the groups are green. 1/5 of the objects are green. So both of these fractions are representing the same thing. They are equivalent fractions, okay? So you have your independent task now that you're going to go off and have a go at. We're going to do this in 2 parts today. So you've got this first part to do, which I'm going to show you now. We're going to come back and mark it, and then you have an apply and reason on a separate sheet, which is on your home learning. So we're going to just do the first one together, just so I can show you what you need to do. So you're going to write down the individual and group equivalent fractions next to each row. So I'm looking at this first row here with the cylinders in. So I'm going to do the first part, which we did in the talk task already. I'm going to count the individual objects. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in total. So that's going to be my denominator. And I want to know how many are shaded. So there are 2 that are shaded. Oh, excuse me, that is not a very good writing at all. I'm going to redo that again. So 2 are shaded, much better. Now I want to look at the group equivalent. So this one should be a little bit easy because I can see that I should be able to group them easily into groups of 2. So 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 groups in total. And how many groups are shaded? How many groups are shaded? Absolutely, there are 1 that is shaded. So in this first part, it's representing either 2/6 are shaded or 1/3 of the objects are shaded. Okay, so what I'd like you to do in a minute is pause the video and have a go at these ones. Be really careful when you get to these bottom ones. We are going to go through them in a moment together once you've had a go, but maybe you might need to use the ones that are not shaded to help you figure out the groups. So in a moment, you're going to pause the video, have a go, and then come back and I'm going to show you the answers. Off you go. Good luck. Okay, hopefully you've managed to have a go at that. We're going to go through the answers together now to see how you did. So I'm just going to pop my visualizer on here. So the first one we did together already. The second one was representing either 5/10 or 1/2 because we can break them into 2 groups. The third one was either 4/16 because 4 out of the 16 whole, or 1/4 because I can break them up into 4 equal groups. The next one, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal groups and 1 of them shaded. So it's 3/15 or 1/5. Now I've left these ones to have a go and show you. So I've got 8/12 shaded as an individual, and then I'm going to look at the groups. Now this is a bit tricky, so I need to think really carefully about how I'm going to break it up because there are a lot more shaded than are not shaded. So I look at how many are not shaded, there are 4. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can break this up all into 2 equal groups of 4. So now I have 1, 2, 3 groups and 2 of them are shaded. So that one should be 2/3. Okay, the next one. Again, it's a little bit trickier because I've got more shaded than are not shaded. So I'm going to think about how many are not shaded because that must be 1 equal group. So I'm going to circle that and I'm going to see if I can make equal groups of 2. Fabulous, yes I can. So 1, 2, 3, 4 groups and 1, 2, 3 are shaded. So I'm just going to leave that there for a moment. You may want to pause the video and check your answers and then you can come back when you're ready. Okay, so moving on. If you are ready and you're feeling confident, there is an apply and reason sheet on a separate sheet, which is in your home learning document. So go away and have a go at that. The answer sheet is there for that. And then when you're ready and you're feeling confident, if you want to come back, we've got a plenary question to go through together where I'm going to go through a couple of trickier questions, which may help you with the apply and reason as well. So have a go at the apply and reason and then pop back when you're ready to have a go at the plenary with me. Good luck and enjoy. Okay, hopefully you've managed to have a go at the apply and reason. I'm just going to go through this question with you, which is quite similar to some of the questions in your reply. So if you were finding it a bit tricky, I can show you how to do it now. So the first question is 1/5 of a set is equal to 6. 1/5 is equal to 6. How many in total? So I've drawn a bar model to help me with this because it says 1/5 is equal to 6. So I need to be working in fifths. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've split my bar model up into 5. Now it says 1/5 is 6. So I know that this box here is representing 1/5. 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5, or 1 whole. Okay, so if this box is equal to 6, all of the other boxes must also be equal to 6 because remember they're equal parts if we're doing fractions. So I'm going to label them all 6. Ooh. So now I know to work out the total, I can add all of my parts together. So 6, add 6, add 6, add 6, add 6. There's definitely a quicker way of doing that. I can do 5 times 6. And hopefully we all know our 5 times tables. 5 times 6 is 30. So in total, there were 30 altogether. So that would be the answer to that question. Okay, looking at the next part now, this is about money this time. So if 1/3 of an amount is £20, how much is there in total? So similarly, again, I've got 1/3 here, 2/3, and 1 whole for the whole bar model. So if 1/3 is equal to £20, I'm just going to label that there. then obviously these ones are also equal to £20 because I have equal parts in my fractions. So I'm going to label that one £20 as well. So same again, I'm trying to find the total. So what do I need to do? Hopefully either add them all together, or I can do 20 times 3. I know my 20 times tables, 20, 40, 60. So the whole bar model, or the total, is equal to £60. Well done if you managed to work those out. Very tricky, but hopefully that will help you go back to the applying reason if you found it a bit difficult. Okay, let me just pop my screen back up. Thank you for doing your best today, guys. Hopefully that was not too tricky. And if it was a little bit tricky, we can go through some of the questions in your briefings with your teacher as well. And I can't wait to see all of your work on Seesaw. See you tomorrow for, oh, it won't be tomorrow, silly Miss Jones. It will be on Monday. So have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.